Hey everybody, so today I am working on bookmarks because I was watching another content creator who likes to cuss and color, and she inspired me to get back into coloring books, and these Hannah Carlson coloring books are just beautiful and I am enjoying them so far. And when I got them I was like, oh, let me try to make me some nice bookmarks out of polymer clay to go with them. So right here I just have a sheet of black and a sheet of pearl that I am going to throw through the pasta machine to make it into a nice Skinner blend. I did end up in the middle cutting and putting some more black and white on each side to get it striped. It's a little bit too small now, so I'm going to put it back through the pasta machine on a number 3 and get me some more real estate so I can cut out my bookmarks. Now this is the first time that I have ever really attempted to cut something out freehand, so you are going to see me struggle but it does come together. Now I always burnish my piece. You want to do this especially if it's going to be the piece that's showing. Burnishing it just makes it all even and nice and pretty for you to start working with it. And you want to cut off your little straggly ends. I cut them off because I don't like to see them. I like to have a pristine sheet, well, as close to pristine as possible, sheet to work with. I just like it pretty. Nana's blings and things, I like it pretty. So I'm just cutting off my little straggly ends like I said. And I'm putting a little water on it just as a release agent, because I am going to be giving this some texture. So I just have a hand roller texture that I'm using. And guys, I was sitting down, so the pressure wasn't really even all the way across the board, but I also wasn't mad at it either, so I did not do it over. The middle and some of the sides kind of lacked the pressure, but as I said, you know, these are for me, not give them to anybody, and didn't have to be perfect, so I was happy with what I had. So even though I was trying to freehand this, I mean, I did freehand it, but I got out my marks it tool just to give me a size to cut my bookmarks in, because I didn't want them big and I wanted at least 4 or 5 of them. So the marks it tool was perfect. What wasn't perfect is me trying to cut them out right here. So I got them all cut out and I'm just lifting them up so that I can start working with them. This is where it kind of went awry too. Of course it's clay, it's unbaked clay, and I was clearly being a little bit too rough with them. I should have been a little bit nicer and they probably wouldn't have screwed out so much. So here I'm just trying to straighten them back up so that when they bake, they're not all wonky looking like they are now. So I'm just trying to trim up the sides, just make sure they're at least as straight as I can humanly get them. So I got them all straight, and what you see in the middle are parts of grommets. It's the bottom part, like the flat part of the grommet. The book mark was too thin on number 3 on the pasta machine to put a real grommet in, because it would have shown on the other side. And these are Lucy Clay stencils that I am going to use to give myself some color on my bookmarks. I just recently got into pan pastels. I love them so far on clay. And this is just some Pearl X in purple. Purple's my favorite color, if you didn't know. So one of them definitely had to be purple. So I am continued to try to straighten them up because they were still kind of looking crazy to me. So I'm just going to straighten them up, and then I will start to put my color on them. So pan pastels are so easy to use, and they are a lot like mica powder. That's what they feel like when I'm using it, but I feel like they went on better than mica powder and was easier to control. If that makes any sense to you guys who are out there doing polymer clay and working with pan pastels on the clay, just seems so much easier to me than mica powder. It wasn't blowing everywhere out, and it was just easy for me to control. So this one is copper pan pastel. That came out really nicely. I really like the way this one looked. It was one of my favorites. And this one was in I think it was a light gold pan pastel. And I just continued on. I did one in blue, and this is Pearl X. The blue is Pearl X. Also getting into working with Inka Gold. I thought this stuff only came in one color, but I found that I think it has 26 different colors, or it might not be 26, it may be 16, maybe lower than that. I don't care how many colors it has. I'm in love with Inka Gold. So now I have this stuff in green, I have it in silver, I have it in magenta, gold, I have a rose quartz. I have fallen in love with Inka Gold, but I fell in love with the Inka Gold before the pan pastels though. I found pan pastels maybe about 2 weeks ago, right when I made this video. So, but I love them too. But the Inka Gold is something else because you can use that on a lot of different surfaces, and it's a beautiful result the way it comes out. So this one that I'm doing now, when I was putting the pan pastel on, I did it with my finger, so it kind of got messed up. But when I'm working with clay and working my projects, nothing is really messed up because you can fix it some kind of way. And nobody knows if you're doing a project that you messed up but you. at the end, people will say, "Oh, that's cute. How did you make that?" But I felt like I had messed this one up because of the way it got in between the texture that I was trying to put down. But like I said, I still like it, and it came out okay once I added that on top of it to kind of hide it. And now I'm just going to put some holes in it with this hole punch that I have, that is about the same size as the Grow Mat. It was a little bit smaller than the Grow Mat, but I was able to just go around the inside with a knife in order to clean up the hole, so it didn't come out too bad. Lisa Pavelka glue that I recently also discovered. It is amazing. It's like super glue for the oven. Who knew? I think everybody knew except for me, but anyway. So I'm just pressing this down just a little bit because I don't want to mess up the clay, but you can see there how the hole was a little bit smaller than the Grow Mat, so I just used a knife to go around and clean that up. So there they all are with the Grow Mats in them, and they are ready to be baked. They are ready to be baked, except I thought I would add some complementing colors of Swarovski crystals to each one of them, because the Swarovski crystal backs aren't that deep, so they would fit in there nicely and not show through the back of the bookmark. So I'm just going to show you what I did on this one. Getting out this Lisa Pavelka super glue again, and I'm going to use that to help secure my Swarovski crystal. So here they all are, nice and baked. I think they came out super duper cute for bookmarks. One of them is quite short because I messed it up, so I had to kind of cut it almost in half, but it still will serve its purpose as a bookmark. So I just wanted to give y'all a little close up, and because it's on a number 3, it's kind of bendy, but that's going to be taken care of with some resin. And I was rubbing on it to show you that after the pan pastel baked on it, there was nothing on my finger. I didn't show my finger, but it was baked on very well. So this is my Nana's Little Helper, my resin stands that I have made. I'm going to have them on Etsy soon if anybody's interested in them. And I will have a video on how I make them, so you can make your own, coming up really soon. So look out for that. This is, I call it my Nana's Little Helper. Is my resin stand. It helps me keep everything level as I resin, because if you have never resin before, that's the #1 pointer. Whatever you're resining, it has to be very level so that the resin doesn't run off of it. Especially the resin that I'm using here is pretty thick, but if you were using some of the thinner resin brands, you would really need to make sure that your piece is level, because once you put the resin on, if it's not level, it's just going to run off and you're just going to have a mess. Trust me, I learned the hard way with resin. Now I'm an old pro at it. At least I think I am. So we're just going to resin these up and make them pretty. I am a resin fan, so we're going to resin them up and get them looking all nice and shiny, and it's going to make them stronger, because remember I showed you how bendy they were. So it's going to make them stronger once the resin cures onto them. So I wanted to put tassels on the end of these, but I'm not good at making tassels. There's my example. It's a hot mess. So I know that I've been so into clay on my channel because it is my first love, but when I first started, remember, I was doing necklaces and beads, and I am in love, in deep love with Jesse James beads. This is only part of my stash of Jesse James beads, but I thought about those would be nice beads to complement my bookmarks. They make this wonderful chain reaction that I knew that I could hang one of their beads off of, and it was just going to be awesome because it's Jesse James beads. And luckily I had a piece of chain reaction that actually matched each one of the bookmarks that I was making. A couple of the chains, I think I put on more than one bookmark, so it was the perfect complement. I wanted to hang a bead off of each one of them. Right here, I'm just laying it all out, not really thinking. That blue bead that I took out, I ended up not using it because the chain reaction already had those cute blue, I think they're ceramic, forgive me if they're not, but I think they're ceramic, but it already had those nice pretty blue beads hanging off of it, so it didn't make any sense to add another one. So I didn't add that blue bead that you saw me put out just then. So I'm just separating them out and getting them ready. Got my pliers out, and we are going to put this together. You can watch me put it together, and I'll stop talking. So here they all are. They're nice and pretty and all done. Here they are. They look so nice in my book with the Jesse James bead hanging outside of the book. They serve their purpose, as you can see, but I absolutely love the way they came out. This is a very successful project, and I'm very happy with it. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, you know I love talking to you guys in the comments, so make sure you ask them. I'll see you in the next one. Love ya. Bye-bye.